You're listening to the Fun Never Ends podcast with Metalhead Nelson.
Hey, welcome to the Fun Never Ends podcast. I am your Metalhead Nelson, and with me is Brutal Brett. Brutal Brett, how you?
I'm doing pretty well, but this is actually a special type of episode, would you say?
Very. Today, we have the singer for Niviane, Skinner, and the newest singer for the thrash band Forbidden, Norman Skinner. Norman, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. So you're like, yeah, it's a special show, so I'm waiting to hear, I'm like, ooh, why is it special?
Because you're here, man.
No, I thought it was going to be like something else. Okay.
It can be. We could turn into a jam of some sort somehow. We'll figure it out.
Hell yeah. So we welcome you back to the show. Last time you were on the show, we got cut off part of the way. Yeah, we were talking about wrestling and we got cut off mid-Zoom.
Oh wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
that was you weren't even married. That was way back.
That was the last time I saw you. You guys were opening for Testament at Ace of Spades.
Yeah, I was a bit like 18 or something, 2018, I think, something like that.
That was it because we had just came from TSO, the arena.
Okay.
How's things been? How'd you get the Niviane? The Forbidden gig. How'd you get the Forbidden?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was I don't know, man. It was multiple things happened. I'll try to abbreviate it as much as possible. So basically, there's a thing that a lot of the core guys do from Forbidden called Bay Area Thrash Band, and what it is they get a lot of who's who players, and they do is they play like early old school thrash songs. But here's the caveat: if you're in Death Angel, you can't play on a Death Angel song. You have to play somebody else's song. So you get all these guys from the different bands and they have to play songs by other people. Well, they were getting ready to go do the Dynamo Festival over in the Netherlands, and they didn't have any singers in state. Like either the singers lived out of state or they were on tour. So Chris Contos mentioned, he's like, hey, what about that guy Skinner? He's a good singer. See if he'll learn some songs, just help us out with our rehearsals. So they called me, asked me if I could learn 12 songs, come down, help them get ready for this fest. And I'm like, sure. So I did that. They were appreciative of that. They thought I was a great vocalist. So they invited me to the San Francisco version of it, which was 3 times bigger because they had, at first they were going to give me 1 or 2 songs, but by the end of it, they gave me like 8 songs. One of the songs they gave me was a Forbidden song, Chalice of Blood, that they had me sing with Warbringer. So it was basically all of Warbringer, and then I'm the singer. And that's funny is the singer of Warbringer, he's told me, he's like, this is the only guy anyone's ever fronted my band except me. But he did join me to do some backing vocals, which was cool. But that was like one of the highlights of the show. And, there were jokes. Contos is backstage. He's like, you guys are fucking stupid if you don't get Forbidden back together. I thought nothing of it. Because I've heard through the years, no Rust, no Forbidden. I heard that from Craig directly. So I was like, it ain't happening. And then, I don't know, man, just many months later, out of the blue, I just get a phone call. I was not expecting that phone call asking if I would be interested in, heading up the reformation of Forbidden coming back. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm down. So, but yeah, there were a lot of factors. I think it was, during the Bay Area International rehearsals, when I was getting them ready, I happened to nail Off the Edge by Forbidden, and that kind of had them go, ooh. And then, I think they wanted to hear me do another Forbidden song, so they gave me the Chalice of Blood one to do live. Saw that, I pulled it off, plus the rehearsals for that. And then it was a Alcatraz Festival in Belgium called, asking Craig if he would put together the band again to do a 35th anniversary of Forbidden Evil. And they even mentioned him. They're like, hey, we know Russ is retired. He doesn't sing anymore. Could you get another singer? And so there you go, man. Everything just sort of aligned, and I happened to be the right guy in the right place at the right time. So
that's pretty badass, man. And congratulations on the gig.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun so far.
I do have a question. First, I want to say Warbringer, great band. I grew up.
Yeah.
I went to high school with them, actually. They're Newbury Park, Thousand Oaks area.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah, those are awesome.
But I just wanted to say, how do you feel in comparison to the reaction that Forbidden is getting since, the Reformation, in regards to how Nuclear Assault and all those bands, I believe Nuclear Assault had an album or are going to have an album that is coming out on Century Media, if I'm not mistaken. Just the, revival of many of those thrash bands and the continued legacy. Are you noticing younger fans being more into it, or more of the legacy and diehard fans fans having a good reception to it, I should say.
Well, I'd say, I mean, from what I've seen, so far, the reactions have been super positive, way more positive than I was anticipating. Like 99.999% positive. The only bad thing I've heard is like one or two guys that are like, no Rush, no Forbidden, you know. And those are the type of people that don't like change. But literally, everyone else, you know, we've had skeptics that are like, hey, man, I was really skeptical, but when I heard it, I'm a believer. So, you know, we've been winning them over. And those ones that are the skeptics are the legacy diehards, right? They have it ingrained what it should sound like, etc. And so far, you know, I think when they first saw some of the live videos come out, then they were like, oh, okay, they're not messing with what I like. They're not messing with the past. You know, it's a new chapter forward, but it still feels right. But at the same time, I think for Thrash has always kind of had that wave after wave of new fans, right? Thrash fans ultimately go back to those original bands and they find all that old school stuff. So I'm seeing a lot of the diehard fans, and I'm also seeing tons of new fans. And I think those new fans were already into Forbid before this ever happened. So hopefully that answers what you're asking.
Very much so.
Let's talk about your preparation when it came down to Alcatraz Festival, going over there and everything you had to go through. And did you get to meet any of your idols while you're there? You were the same night as Holly Shank, Michael.
Yeah. So it was a ton of rehearsals. I mean, we were rehearsing like 3 times a week. And for me, I come the furthest because they're all in like Oakland. I'm up in, you know, near Sacramento. So it'll take me a good 2 hours to get there each way. So I definitely put in the time and energy, make sure I was out there at the rehearsals. We were just hammering the songs, making sure we had the album down. Plus we picked 2 songs off Twisted and Form. So, you know, we were doing a total of, I think it was 10 songs. So we really just hammered it. Hammered on these songs, making sure we got them as close to perfect as we could. And other than that, you know, our management set up all, you know, they worked out where we were staying, the flights, all that stuff. That was all handled between the festival and our management. So really, for me, it was just, you know, getting my gear ready, making sure I had the songs down, and then just going over there and doing it. And it was definitely an experience because, I mean, prior to that festival, you know, I think it was like 25,000 people at least, something like that. You know, I played like to 1,800, roughly, or I think something like that. So this was far and beyond anything I've done. But it was cool, man. It was a great experience. I definitely got a couple guys I got to meet that I was like, oh, well, you know, I got to meet like first singer was I got to meet Jesse Leach from Killswitch Engage. And I was like, I'm a huge Killswitch fan. He was very, very courteous. He was a nice guy. You know, soft-spoken, very almost introverted, but really nice. And we took a picture, and I got to meet Tim Ripper Owens, who I'm like, holy crap! And he actually knew who I was, and he had already been following the story because I guess he's listened to Forbidden. He was already a Forbidden fan, so he'd seen, oh, they got a new singer and this and that, you know. And my story was similar to his. You know, a guy just kind of plucked from this local level and put to this big band. His, of course, was on a way huger scale, right? From a tribute band plucked into like Judas Priest, but. So I wanted to ask him questions. I wanted to talk to him about him, but he was just so cool. He was like just talking about me. And I was just like, you know, I was just lost in it, man. So I definitely am looking forward to hanging out with that guy again because I have my own fanboy questions that I want to ask. But those were 2, like, you know, as a singer, 2 main guys that I got to meet that I was like, oh, wow, this is crazy. And the guys give me crap, you know, in a nice way. They're like, get used to it, man. You're going to meet all sorts of people. So
that's the beauty part of being in that industry too.
Yeah, I try to keep my cool, man. I try to be like, all right, these are my peers, right? But at the same time, I'm just like, ooh, he's right there, you know.
Having pyro.
Oh, the pyro. Yeah,
I remember your post saying, ooh, pyro.
Yeah, so it was I think it was the day before we were doing our production meet. So we went out to the fairgrounds and we met to make sure our videos were working and intros and stuff like that. And I think it was Chris that saw the pyro truck and he's like, let's go see how much pyro is. Let's go see if we can get pyro. And this is the day before the show. And they go and they talk. And I think our label, I think Nuclear Blast covered the cost for it too, which was cool because they were out there. And I remember they're like, oh, see this tape there? Don't go past that. These pods will go off. They kind of told me which songs, but I didn't get it all down. I was just like, hey, just don't go past the tape. And I remember Chris going, when that pyro goes off, don't react to it, you know, just whatever. So I remember singing, it was the very first song. And it's just like, and I'm like, ooh, all right. So yeah, you can feel the heat from those things, man. But what's funny is when you're, at least for me, when I'm into it and I'm just doing my thing, I'm running my lines, I'm looking at the crowd, I'm going through the motions. It's almost a secondary thing. I almost start to not. It's just part of the stage. So it's interesting how that worked.
I actually have a question. Since you're talking about the dichotomy of going from like the quote unquote local scene to being plucked to Judas Priest level for that, what do you think the difference?
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, I was about to ask the difference between playing for Niviane and then playing for Forbidden, and then also what bands locally in the Bay Area scene now do you see that you think deserve a little shout out from you, and ones that you wish to play with in the future of the bigger scale, as well as I guess now your contemporaries, I would say, that you haven't gone to play with yet.
Yeah, there's a few questions in there. Let me try to.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Let me try to tackle each one. So obviously the difference between the level I was at to the level I am now is with Niviane, and even Niviane, we're a worldwide band. I mean, we have albums out and everything. It's all great, but at that level, you're still hustling. You're still trying to make contacts and trying to make things happen, and you're in the trenches. Sure, at home, everyone wants you to headline and they're offering you stuff, but outside of that little pond, you're still scratching just to get your name known, and it's way tough, right? It's way tough because nothing's really just handed to you, and you really got to battle for every little ounce of anything. I've noticed with Forbidden, it's like, oh, hey man, we got all these offers coming in. There's this festival, this show, and everyone wants to hear the new Forbidden, and hey, if they want us to write a record, and everything just kind of seems to be, they've already done all of that, that local level, paid their dues, battled it in the trenches. So it's just, show up and sing, do your homework. I don't have to worry about all of the other stuff that I do with Niviane, because I'm still doing Niviane, so I'm still having those struggles. But I am hoping that, with me fronting Forbidden now, it will help maybe grease some wheels with Niviane and maybe get us a little more exposure. So that's the main difference, is really the business side and exposure and just people listening and knowing, and the battles. Aside from that, bands around here that, I could give a ton of shout outs. One of my favorites is a band that's been around for a long time called Potential Threat, SF. Great thrash band. They've been around forever. I just don't think that they've done tours, they put albums on. I just don't think that they've ever gotten the due that they deserve. I mean, I love their music. There's some cool up and comers. There's a band called Frolic. That's really good. Hatriots from here. I mean, Zetro used to front them, and they've been doing good things. But I think that they could be put on even a bigger scale, because they're really good. On a different kind of non-thrash, my Niviane keyboardist band Grave Shadow for symphonic power metal. Those guys and gals are really good. I think they could really go on to some big things as well. But there's a ton of bands. There's a band in Sacramento that a lot of people don't know about. It's a really good thrash band called Solanum. SLANUM. I'm just gonna spell it out. They kind of sound like Creator to me. Really good stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of bands, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of bands. I mean, I got buddies and bands that are fantastic. There's a band called Short Fuse. Check them out. They're really good. But there's a bunch. Sorry to all my friends if I missed your band. I'm not gonna name your list.
I got a question for you. So how do you find balance between work life and home life without so many bands avoiding out?
Well, avoiding the burnout's tough. I mean, I won't lie. There's days where I sit here and I'm like, man, my plate's too full. I don't want to do all of this, and that's being honest. It is what it is. It's not complaining. I'm not complaining because I get to do this. It's just, we're human, right? We can only do so much and we get burnt out. So, but of course, I always try to make time for the family, right? I got 2 kids, the wife. So I always try to make sure that they're included in things, and, they're loved and everything. Luckily for me, I've been a remote employee for my job forever. So this is right here in front of me. This is my work, my play, writing, recording, everything. Here's my work computer and stuff right here. So literally, I'm caught up on emails and all my stuff. I just turn this way and I can work. So, that alone helps tremendously. Plus, being a remote employee, if I tour anywhere in the Americas, Canada down to South America, I really don't have to take any PTO off, because I can work from the bus, I can work in my hotel room. It's, so I can save that for overseas stuff. So, so far it works out, but the remote thing really helps with the bounce. And then the rest between bands is just scheduling. Like in Niviane, we have a bi-weekly rehearsal every other Thursday. Forbidden's way more demanding. It's 2 days a week, but I just make sure that every other Thursday I'm with Niviane, so I get that in as well. So
speaking of Niviane, last time I saw you guys were a different lineup. You had a different drummer, different bass player. Now you guys have keyboardist, totally different bass player, and
yeah. Well, it's oh man, there's a lot to that. Well, the drummer, he during COVID, he lost his job, and it was a money thing, and he was coming the furthest. He was from San Jose, so he was driving, sometimes 2-3 hours to get to rehearsal, and it just got really tough. Plus, he was also doing he's in the Hispanic community, so he does a lot of mariachi with his brothers and stuff. They get paid to do all these weddings and other things, so he's making money at that. So it was almost a no-brainer. I think he was just like, doing this is just way too much, and he basically made the choice to separate. I think it was amicable between him and most of the band. Not me. I didn't want to see him go at all, but I can't make up other people's minds. But luckily enough, we got Isaiah AR in the band very shortly after. The dude's such a technician, just fantastic, great positive energy, everything. So we're really happy to have him. Regarding bass, so Rick was an original member, and it was just honestly, it's just one of those things where the two grew apart. And then our new album that we just finished, he really didn't like most of the songs on it, didn't think it's the right direction. And I think when he did leave, he was talking about starting black metal band, symphonic black metal band, which is different. So it just, I think it was a long time coming, honestly. I think he was already sort of getting disgruntled with the way things were going. We were getting disgruntled with him. So it was another one where we informed him that we were going to have to let him go. He was like, thank God, I was getting ready to quit. So, so then we held auditions for a bassist, and we got hit up by this guy Tyler Satterley, who's our new bass player. But thing is, he plays in a thrash band. He's the lead singer and lead guitar player. Don't play bass in that band. So when he sent us a thing saying he was interesting, we were all like, dude, we don't want a guitar player that plays bass. We want like an actual bass player. But he sent us audition tape, him just fully ripping with the fingers Iron Maiden songs, and we're like, whoa, this guy's like a bass player. And I guess his whole life he's been playing bass too. Oh. So yeah, and he's just super high energy and really good. And then the keyboard thing. So Aaron, we have keys on all albums, and Aaron is the one who composed and recorded them on Druid King as well as Ruthless Divine. So during, we were just like, I think we were playing with Delane and Amorphous, and it was at that show, we were talking about keyboards, and like, dude, we should just have him be a full-time member and bring that more live aspect, blah, blah, blah. So I called him from that show and asked if he was interested, and he told us the very next day, yeah, and he's been a full-time member ever since. So there you go. That explains the Niviane line at 3 line of Chinks right there.
The Druid King, the Ruthless Divine, get those albums, check them out. I highly recommend it.
Yep. And the third one is already in the can, ready to be released as soon as we get a label. Our label just informed us they're not picking up our option because they are closing shop. So we're like, oh crap, we don't have a label, so we have to do some shopping right now for our third album.
Best of luck, and I hope it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I mean, this is one of those things I was talking about. If it were forbidden, there'd be plenty of label offers. Vian, we got to hustle. We got to try to find one. It's the difference again, right?
I do have a question coming from the more family perspective. Nelson said that you have kids that are in the middle school and I believe high school, he said, and that they're into metal as well. I'm wondering if they've actually turned you on to any bands just from what they've seen on the internet or anything like that, and how it's affected your own personal music taste or how you go approaching, social media and the internet in both bands.
Yeah, so I do have 2 kids, both in high school, a freshman and a senior. My daughter, who's 17, she plays a little guitar when she feels like it. But her musical taste is all over the rock metal spectrum. I mean, she listens to everything from she loves Typo Negative and Alice in Chains, but then she also likes Suicidal Tendencies and Death. So I never know what she's listening. One minute it's Pink Floyd, the next it's Obituary. So she's very eclectic in what she listens to. She has not turned me on to anything I didn't already know about yet. My son, he is a drummer. He's been taking lessons and just excelling very quickly. But he listens to bands I'm unfamiliar with. A lot heavier stuff. He did turn me on to a Parkway Drive.
Oh, yeah.
Slaughter to Prevail.
More metalcore, it seems.
Yeah, so he loves the speed and the aggression. But then at the same time, I'll hear him listening to Megadeth, Maiden and stuff like that. So he's got the Dio. So he's kind of got that the wide range of classics. But then I can tell he really likes that quick, fast, heavy stuff. So some of those bands he's turned me on to. It hasn't changed my music taste because I haven't been like, ooh. I've just been like, oh, this is cool. But they definitely, my power metal stuff comes on and they're like, can you skip this, please? Yeah, they love coming to the shows. They like seeing Niviane. They're fans. They love Forbidden, so they're big fans of that as well. So, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool that they support me, and they really, they say they get more metal street cred because of who their dad is now. So I don't know, man.
From the three of us, we like talk wrestling as well. So Brett's a wrestling guy. You're a wrestling guy.
Yeah, I haven't seen wrestling in a long time, but I can definitely talk wrestling. It's been a while.
Who is your favorite wrestler?
All time?
All time.
All time. That would be the man with the excellence of execution. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, Bret the Hitman Hart. He is my all-time favorite. He's a technician. I always loved his in-ring persona. I love the way his matches, everything from his backbreaker to his off the second rope, elbow, all the stuff, to his sharpshooter. I just really liked the moves he did. He didn't have to be too over the top. He wasn't a high flyer, but he'd take to the mat and he could do some damage. For newer, God, what's funny is I think newer wrestlers, but like even the newer guys that I like are not new. Like Randy Orton, dude, he's got the best finisher. You can hit that finisher from anywhere, anytime, man. And boom, yeah, out of anywhere. I think he has the best finisher that I've, in my opinion, period. I like that dude. Is it Finn?
Finn Balor, yeah.
Finn Balor, that dude's really cool. I only saw a little bit of him before. My daughter was watching again, so I got back in, but she doesn't watch anymore. So now it's like, I watched for a little while, and then now I don't really have the time. So, but we still do watch. I still watch the Royal Rumble every year because that's the best thing ever. I just love the concept. So every year, even if we don't know who the wrestlers are, we'll watch them.
I will say, wrestling has more of a metal and hardcore connection than ever before lately, with two members of hardcore bands in being Andy Williams, the Butcher, and Brody King, who's in House Black for AEW. Andy Williams was in Every Time I Die, a metalcore band, and Brody King is the singer of the band God's Hate. So in doing so, they've had so many themes be metal and hardcore songs. So maybe Niviane or Forbidden could be an entrance theme one day.
We did have one guy, we were playing in Reno, and this was before the Ruthless Divine was out, but we played Like Lions live. He asked if we could, when we recorded it, if he could use it as an entrance music for his wrestling. But we never heard from him because we didn't keep in touch with him or know who he was. But big shout out to my buddy Boss Blacker. He is a singer, drummer in the metal scene here, and he is a wrestler. So yeah. So just a shout out to him. I see him. He's posting all the time where they're putting on their little shows, working on the crowds, and I see him in his training sessions and stuff. And it's really cool to see somebody, whatever the dream is or whatever field it is, to see them passionately go after it. I appreciate that stuff.
How do you feel about all the upcoming festivals that you have lined up for next year, Bid?
There's a lot of them. I mean, I'm excited about it. So far, things that have been announced: U.S. We got Seattle, Houston, and Baltimore. We've got Chile and Brazil. We got the UK, the Netherlands. We got Belgium again. I think no, it's just the Netherlands. But and then I think there's a couple more coming out that are going to be announced as well. So it's just like, oh, this is going to be fun. I'm going to be doing a lot of travel, get those passport stamps. But it's really all new to me, man. I mean, I have to have one fest. That's it. So I told the guys, like, I could get used to this, and they go, you better. We're going to do a lot of these next year. So, but it'll be interesting. I gotta really at this stage, it's a gray area, right? I'm not going to be making nowhere near enough money to quit my job. So I just need to watch and plan accordingly. So I'm using my PTO right. What ones do I fly in? Do I fly home? Do I stay for a little? So that's my worry right now. It's just working that out. I want to make sure I'm there 100% for the guys, but at the same time I can't sacrifice my own livelihood. So
understandable. So what's next for Niviane and your other projects, Skinner?
So yeah, I mean, so any other project I had besides Niviane, Skinner, and Ben are dead. But I've said that many times. And things have popped up. So never say never. But as of right now, anything else that I was involved with, any of those other bands, it's on a permanent hiatus until something out pops up. But for Niviane, like I said, album 3 is done. I mean, God, we're ready to release this thing. We're ready to go the whole next steps of everything. But now we need a label. So now we're on the label hunt. Hopefully that won't delay things too much longer. I just started working on the first song for album 4. So I want to keep the writing forward. Other than that, we have a couple local shows in the works like normal. I mean, we're a local band technically, so we do the local shows. But we're just really, here's a really positive is the manager of Forbidden recently took on Niviane as well. So he's going to try to get us, he's going to try to pitch us a little bit. There's no guarantees. The idea is maybe that, Forbidden's playing a festival on a Saturday. Maybe they might be interested in Niviane to to open or be low on a Friday, since I'll be there already. And if it works out, of course, we won't have everything covered payment wise, but if it offsets enough where it makes sense, and we're hoping that he can help us with a label, contacts and stuff. So it's all new. It's all new. But for Niviane, it's business as usual, writing, local shows, and just trying to get this new album out and see what opportunities arise. And then Skinner's.
Sorry,
what's that?
I don't mean to cut you off. I want to tell everyone how much I love Niviane through a mutual friend of ours that I got into Niviane. I actually flew up from LA up to Sacramento to see you guys play at the Holy Divers time.
Couple times, yeah.
Twice I think, and then the third time was the Ace of Spades.
Right. So we anyone that doesn't know Niviane, it's Niviane. Check us out. I almost hate saying power metal because people automatically think, oh, it's like Rhapsody or Hammerfall or Blind Guardian. I'm like, no, we're very heavy power metal. We're like more like a Mystic Prophecy or Brainstorm or even Primal Fear, or more balls to it.
I would say I hear. Oh, I was sorry about that. I hear a bit of King Diamond, Merciful Fate in it, just through your vocal performance, and that's one of my biggest influences, just like in metal. So,
oh, nice.
Keep doing what you're doing on that. That coming,
Barlow.
Yeah, just because from me not being so much into power metal, like I listen to Manowar and things like that, but it's still new to me. I'm learning more from Nelson, so having that as my point of reference, I'm like that's where I'm coming from with Niviane.
All right, Nelson will have to turn you on to one of my other studio projects called Hellspring. We did 2 albums. It's basically the band Cage, also the same band as Three Tremors, but I'm the singer instead of Sean Peck. But one journalist said it sounded like King Diamond on steroids. So you might like
yes.
Yeah, so for Skinner, Skinner's just been my recording stuff, right? I literally have 4 6-song EPs in the works that are 90% written and demoed. So I just have a couple songs that are in the works that I need to get done, and I should be recording the first of the 4 Skinner 6-song EPs shortly. So that'll always just be something on the back burner that I'll always be working on, my own Skinner stuff. And these next 4 EPs are all one big concept. So it's a whole story, a lot of guest musicians, a lot of guest singers, something I've been working on for many years, just on the behind the scenes. So but I had to finish up my solo album that came out March 30th, The Dark Design, and I wanted to get that done and out before I really went full force with these other EPs. So,
what song do you wish you could have written? Any song?
Oh, by someone else?
Yeah, if there's one song. What song?
Or
5.
Vocally, I have to say I can name a couple actually. One inspired Judas Priest. That is just phenomenal. And that's a ripper song. That's off of and it's off Jugulator, and the vocal performance on that is just spectacular. Another one, I'm going to go way back to my high school years for me, borderlines on hair metal, but I'd say Quicksand Jesus by Skid Row is just an insanely awesome song, and the vocals on that one I would also put as a perfect vocal performance as well. That song's insane. So those are a couple, yeah, for sure that I always like. I mean, they're newer songs that I like the band Pretty Maids, and they have that song called Kingmaker, which is the title track, and that song just rocks. Oh, this is just one of those songs that gets you just kind of get going. Yeah, it's Pretty Maids, Kingmaker, and if you haven't heard them, listen to that album, Motherland, Pandemonium, any of those. So they were a band they were like a hair band in the late 80s. Really good stuff, mind you. But then they came back years later, and they just sound like a really modern heavy metal band that just got way better over time. And I actually got to see them at Prog Power in Atlanta one year, and they were just fantastic. They're up there for me. They're just a killer band. But that song Kingmaker, man, it's just got a hook to it. So
I'll have to check that out on my drive.
Yeah, and then going to bands that you mentioned, you asked what bands could I want to play with that I haven't got to play with. I would say my favorite band of all time is Evergrey. So they're a band I absolutely would love to share the stage with. And let's just name the big ones, right? Maiden, Priest, Metallica. Come on, I mean any of those big ones as well. But Evergrey they have a special place because they're like my fave. So.
My next question was going to be, because Nelson mentioned songs that you wish you were in. What label, roster, or era do you think that would be the perfect representation for any of your bands now? Whether it being, like the glory days of Metal Blade, of I know you work with Nuclear Blast, with Forbidden, anything like that.
Oh, dude, I would go to the mid '80s and just jump on Geffen Records, man. That's a big time, right? There's Sony, Columbia, one of the bigs. I wouldn't even mess with a metal label. I would go straight to the mainstream label and be like, "Where's my money? Where's my bag of coin?" Yeah,
Everything's cyclical.
Yeah, I mean, but for now, I mean, I think like for Niviane, if we could get on a label like AFM, I think that'd be a perfect fit for us. Nuclear Blast is honestly a great fit for Forbidden, so it's cool that we're on with them still. I know that they have one album left that they owed the label, and it's very cool that, you know, the label representative was out at the festival and they heard us, and they're very interested in what the next album's going to be. So that's positive, you know.
Do you have any crazy or fun stories that happened at Alcatraz or during that time?
Not, God, when you get to our age, you're really tame. You know, I know that. So I don't know if you guys happen to see, we did a secret show. Our very first time live was a secret show near San Francisco, in the Bay Area, and we performed under Twisted into Evil. And we did a whole promo. Now, if you haven't seen this promo, let me know and I'm going to find it for you. But it's Macho Man. And we have our buddy, this whole Macho Man thing. He busts out of a garbage can. He's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah." And he's doing the whole thing where he's just out of his mind announcing this show. So, you know, and at our secret show, he was there with a whole bunch of Slim Jims passing them out. And,
Yeah.
it was really cool. So he's kind of become Forbidden's mascot, you know. Megadeth has Vic and Iron Maiden has Eddie. We have Macho Man. And he was going to be doing drum teching in Belgium. And he also came on stage just to do a little harmony part real quick on one of the songs. But he was going to do it all in Macho Man gear. But Chris forgot it at the hotel. So we were already there, so he couldn't do it. But so that, I mean, that's kind of funny. But everybody will see here and there Macho Man's going to pop up at Forbidden stuff. But I'm assuming you guys have not seen that promo.
I think I saw like a bits and pieces of it. I didn't touch on it. I'll have fine.
I'll make sure that I send it your way so you can check it out. It's hilarious.
I'll laugh my ass off.
Yeah, it's good. Especially being wrestling fans, you're gonna pick up on all the little sayings. He says like Macho Man stuff. Like he does a full cutaway. Like it's great.
Oh. You know, that brings me an interesting question. How is the pit? How is the mosh pit? And are you someone who instigates the, you know, moshing and circle pits?
Not really. I mean, that's like all right, here's some little insight. I hate being in an audience when the singer is basically degrading us. I'm allowed to swear, right?
Yep.
Okay, I hate it when he's like, "Come on, motherfuckers. Yeah, you fucking this, blah, blah, blah." Yeah, I hate that. I'm like, I mean, I know you're doing your thing, but I'm like, come on, dude. You don't have to do that. Just deliver your shit, right? And then I also don't like it when they're almost like begging us, "Come on, do it for me, Mo." It's like, dude, if the music's there and the energy's there, they're going to do it. You can do this. I do that. If we're going, I'll just be like that. But you're not going to see me out there like begging for a pit. I don't try to egg it on and stuff. And with Forbidden, luckily, that stuff just happens. You know, first song, you know, I see it. It was a kind of kitty corner on the right side is where it opened up, and a whole show was never stopped. But here's something funny relating to pits. When we did our secret show, we had a big black banner up, so we couldn't see what was going on. And the intro started, and it was the very beginning of Follow Me, but it was just like the CD intro that we would kick into. I didn't see until later when I saw video of it. As soon as that first note hit, we weren't even playing, and that was a whole minute and a half of that. They started pitting. They were pitting to the intro before we even hit a note. So yeah, gotta love that.
Oh yeah.
I think Brett, you had a question.
It was about crossover and just what your definition of it is, and whether you have much experience as well trying to win over, those who are more into hardcore, those who are more into punk, when playing thrash, when playing power metal as well, and how you try to incorporate fan bases from all across those different, I guess, metal to some degree genres, and death metal as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, for Forbidden, we don't worry about any of that because it's like, we're Forbidden. It is what it is. It's thrash.
Yep.
We play it. But for instance, for Niviane, when we play with heavier bands, we try to put our heavier songs in the set, right? If we're playing with, one time we opened up for Warrant, so we're like, dude, let's put some more ballads in the set, and because you want to, right? You want to win over those other fans, but at the same time, you want to be true to your own band, so you don't want to put it all one direction, so they think, oh, this is only what they sound like, and be like, huh. But for instance, Niviane, our last tour was in 2021. We went out with Soulfly, so we're on tour with Soulfly. So very different bands, very different sounds. And we would talk to the merch booth. We would talk to the fans afterwards, and it was almost always the same. They would be like, "Yeah, man, we'd see you guys come out, and you got a guitar player, and what the hell is this shit?" Blah blah blah. And then we would play, and they'd be like, "All right, this is cool," and they'd get all into it and stuff. So, we try to tailor our set a little bit towards whatever the other band crowd is, but at the same time, we're just going to be true to ourselves. Not everyone's going to like you, and do the best you can. I mean, Forbidden, in May, we're playing Maryland Metal Death Fest. I can't read 90% of the logos on that thing, and I think other than maybe one other band, we're the only ones with like any kind of clean vocals. So, that's going to be that's going to be interesting. So, maybe a heavy set.
Speaking of fest, what was it like playing Power Prog? Because I saw the lineup this year. It's like Wingers on there, and then like a couple other bands.
So I've personally never played Prog Power, but I've been there. I used to go every year. It was like my go-to festival, and then I got busy, and I was always doing tours and stuff. And then Aftershock is here, and my kids are old enough where they want to go. So all my money that I would spend for that one festival, now I take the whole family to this other one. So I haven't been going a long time, but that fest, was more. I kept going back for the friends and family. Sometimes the lineup was killer. Other times I was like, eh. And like I saw this year, it's like I don't know who half bands are. I'm like, I've seen Winger a million times, so I'm not going to fly all the way across country to hear them do Pole in its entirety. I don't get me wrong, I think that's a fantastic album. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. I heard that they're only doing that festival for a couple more years, then they're shutting it down, retiring. So.
I have a lot more, but it says up top that this call has a deadline. Unfortunately, I could go on for
it's like 15 minutes, giving me 15 more minutes.
I'm like, you can do a 10-minute quick fire if you want.
Well, I'm trying to think. Are there any local? There is one local-ish crossover hardcore band from the area that I know of, and I wanted to see if you know of them or just bands of that ilk. They're from San Jose. They're called Drain. They're kind of a Slayer style, but with more of a hardcore approach. No, don't know them.
The only band Drain I know is like Drain STH, and there's an all-girl band from Europe. I don't think they're around anymore. It's kind of a heavy Alice in Chains, but all girls. Really good.
I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah, it's called Drain and then STH, and they had I think they only had 2 albums out. So
okay,
I'm gonna check that.
Venue, if like any venue that you haven't played, what's the dream venue that you want to play? Venues.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Some of these, maybe Madison Square Garden or something very historical.
Yeah.
Giant stadium, one of those big things would be pretty cool. So.
And I do have a question. Are those kaiju or Japanese vinyl toys behind you?
They are not. So that, my friend, is one of my cases of vintage 80s He-Man Masters of the Universe toys, because I collect vintage.
That's even cooler.
Yeah. So that is that's some of them.
I had to ask because I couldn't see, but no, I used to collect kaiju and Japanese vinyl toys, so I'm just like, is he a collector too? But no, that blows out of your way even.
Yeah, I think on the floor you can see some of the castles down there.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I got another case just like this over here. I have tons of the He-Man, of about 95% of all the He-Man Funkos, all sizes also. So, but yeah, if you can't tell, I'm a big Masters of the Universe.
That is so badass. God damn.
That's my inner nerd right there.
I video store trying to rent them, and then you couldn't rent them anymore. I was like, damn it.
There's an internet meme of someone recreated like He-Man, but it's him singing Gypsy by Merciful Fate.
Oh, I think we sent that to everybody sent me. I get the He-Man Skeletor memes, videos, and I'm like, it's cool, but I'm like, I want people to send me free toys. That's what I want. And, there's a guy who hit me up, and he's like, hey, when you come to Brazil, I got some He-Man stuff for you.
Oh.
There we go.
I was about to say, Nuclear Blast has done the Slayer action figures with Super 7. Maybe you'll get one with Forbidden.
Dude, I can't even imagine someone making a freaking toy of that. My mind would be blown. I would be like, wow, really? Me? So, I mean, the way that people talk, they're like, they talk to me like, even friends, I go out to a show and they're all, hey, Rockstar's here, hey, Rockstar, and all that. And I'm like, there ain't nothing different, man. I'm the same dude that I was a few months ago. No change, dude. So, I know they're all joking and they mean it playful, but it's like, I don't ever want, I've personally met too many cock stars. The guys that I was like, oh, wow, it's going to meet them. They turn out to complete assholes. I never want to be that guy. I always remember where I come from. So.
I've met too many like that. Then you met the ones that are like really humble and down to earth, and they're like,
Yeah, those are the cool ones.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I've been enjoying this far too much. I've been just enjoying listening and learning more, and I just need to listen to all the bands that you shouted out, and as well as your other projects as well.
I have a lot of stuff. So I'll go ahead and plug myself real quick if that's cool. So for all your people watching and listening out there, if you're curious about any of my past projects or current projects, I have my own website, normanskinner.net. One guy has the con, but he's like wants me to pay like thousands of dollars, so he kissed my ass. So it's normanskinner.net. I have videos on there of every video I've ever released. There's no forbidden stuff really on there yet because that's new. I have a playlist on, and is every studio song I've ever released.
That's
and
badass.
like 175 songs or something on it. So you can literally go and be like, let me hear what he has done, and it's everything. There's also for Spotify users, if you type in Norman Skinner Ultimate, there's another like Ultimate playlist, but it's only got like maybe 150, 145 songs. But from my like 17 albums I've released. But you can definitely dive in, and if you're wanting to do a deep dive, see how long it takes for you to get tired of hearing my voice, go for it. But yeah, one-stop shop, check it out. Plus I have lots of merch and stuff. I ain't making the big money yet, so please buy something. If anything, buy my old stuff so I can get it out of my closet so I can make room for more.
I was going to say the shirt that you're wearing now even has a sick design.
Yeah, this one we don't make anymore. This is one of our discontinued Niviane shirts. Maybe we'll bring it back one day.
I've got the Druid King one, and then one that I think it was like a dragon.
Oh, the dragon one is the blue?
Yeah.
That's discontinued. I literally have one left sitting over here, and I think it's a small. But yeah, that was our 2018 tour shirt, and that one's gone. Maybe we'll do a throwback one day.
All right, I want to thank Norman Skinner for coming back on the show, and we didn't get cut off this time. It's always great to see you, man. I hope to see you in person. Been a minute, and thank Brett for being here. For myself, Brett, this has been Fun Never Ends Podcast. You can find us at funpodcast.com. Check it out. Check the video. Go check out Forbidden. They're playing in San Francisco with Death Angel. I believe it's 2 nights.
2 nights. If you don't have tickets already, both nights are completely sold out, but you can buy the live stream. So anybody can buy a live stream for either nights. So yeah.
Or you can fly out and see them at festival.
Yep. There's lots of those going on as well.
Go see Niviane, fly up or drive Niviane.
Yeah. Come crash on someone's couch, just not mine.
All right, for Brutal Brett, myself, and Norman Skinner, this has been an episode of Fun Never Ends Podcast. Take care. We'll catch you next time. Bye.